Hey guys, welcome back. Co-Creation Nation, we're so glad that you are listening. I am Lauren Hall with my awesome co-host, Troy Blankenship. Hey, Troy.
Right back at you, Lauren. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm so excited to be here with you today, talking with one of your clients on awesome successes.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, that's why we do this. I mean, this is one of the main reasons why we created this podcast, Co-Creation Nation, in the first place, was to bring people on and have them explain their stories and share their knowledge and share their experience. Because I don't know if you, I mean, I'm sure you get this plenty of times. And in fact, I think we might have even made a podcast about this. But I mean, I get it all the time. All right, people will call me for a consultation and they'll say, "What is this thing, hypnosis?" You know, because Hollywood does such a great job, and I'm being facetious, such a great job of explaining what hypnosis is and what it isn't. And you know, these shows that you see on TV, and believe me, I mean, you know, they can really make it dramatic and they can make it, you know, so impactful, but really it doesn't, it just scratches the surface, right? It doesn't really get to the true change and the true transformation of so many people. So, you know, that's exactly why we do this, right? Since November. And what episode is this? Is this 21?
This is 21. Yeah. Well, at least Hollywood intrigues people.
Right. But they don't tell the truth. And that's what really, you know, irks me, I suppose, because I mean, you know, but again, I mean, their thing is, oh, we got to get eyeballs on our shows, or we have to sell tickets to movies, or now the big thing is streaming, right? Oh, we got to have all these people subscribe to our streaming service. So it is very, you know, interesting for a movie, I suppose, but it's not really how it happens, right? It's not really how it goes down. And so and to bring this back, you know, to bring on clients like we have tonight, it's really to have the individual explain their success and explain their experience and explain their process through all of this.
Yeah, because Hollywood.
You get that question too, though, right? I mean, you get plenty of people that say, "Hey, what is this? What is this thing, hypnosis? What can it do? How can it help me?"
I do hear that. Today I literally heard, this is the last resort. You know, they kind of walked in and they had tried everything. I mean, they had this issue for years, and that's why you and I were both so impassioned to do this and to, ask clients like, are you willing to share your story? Because it really can help a person who just hadn't considered hypnosis or had heard hypnosis and just thought, that probably is too sensational, right? Hollywood made it too dramatic. Like, I doubt that could work for me. And that's what we're doing here, is to bring in this, like, story after story, the individual clients. Troy, I was a client of yours recently. We should definitely talk about that at some time, because our techniques are really different, and it's appropriate because every hypnotist is going to have different styles. And they're if they're in practice, they're going to be effective with those styles, and that means that you can do hypnosis in many different ways and still get consistent positive results.
Yeah, everyone's going to have their own style. For me, my opinion on the matter is it really comes down to results. I don't think the normal person coming in for hypnosis sessions is really going to care, so long as they see success and so long as they see results, right? They just want to make sure that this thing is fixed. They want to make sure it's behind them and they can live their life in a way that they deserve. So, which is why, right, we have an awesome individual, an awesome person, Kasey. I want to welcome Kasey to Co-Creation Nation. So welcome, Kasey, and thank you for taking the time tonight to share your story with hypnosis. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Well, thanks for being here. You know, we were just talking off camera a second ago. We bring on clients that, we know their story will be able to help individuals, right? So your story, your experience will be able to help people that you may never even meet, you may never even hear about, but it's because of your story and how it can relate to someone else who might hear this podcast, tomorrow or next week or a month from now or even a year from now. They can relate to it. And that's why you're here. So we certainly appreciate that. So let's get right into this, right? I love asking questions. You were so nice enough the other day to do an interview testimonial for me. And I thought, your story is so special and so unique and so relatable. If you're willing to do it, come on the podcast and have your story open up to a broader audience. So let's go back to the very beginning, right? Before we started working together, before we met, what was going on in your life? Can you kind of paint the picture for us?
Sure. Yeah. I've had anxiety my entire life since I can remember. So some of my earliest memories of it are, when I'm 4 and 5 years old, and it has always revolved kind of around noises, specific types of noises, specific types of situations. So it started with water, filling up a bathtub, filling up a bucket of water, just strange, doesn't make a lot of sense, but it was something that caused me great anxiety. And I think as I got older, years passed, just kind of more and more things added to this list of noises that cause me anxiety. So it turned in from, water noises to a bunch of different kitchen noises to pipes or things running in the walls to lots of people in a small space or loud noises in the car. So it just kind of expanded and became more and more intrusive in my life, and was just making things really hard to get through in general. So I tried a lot of different things, and then this was kind of something that I tried with you, which is completely different, about a month and a half ago, I think now.
And I remember when you were doing your testimonial with me a few days ago, or maybe a week ago now, you said that you were your mom was the one that actually suggested this for you. Is that right?
Yeah, we had had a conversation, and she, I was ready to start a new medication because I was at that desperate of a point to try more medication. And she said, maybe you should try hypnotism. I'll go look it up for you. I'll do the research. I'll find something. And then she just forwarded me your website. So that's kind of where my first real exposure to hypnotism for therapy.
Mm-hmm. Right. So what was your thought? Right. She forwards you my website. She, I'm assuming you got on my website at some point, read some information. What was it about my website? What was it about the experience of hopping on my website for the first time? And, what made you take the next step in reaching out and scheduling a consultation?
So I was reading through all the information, but also watching some of the testimonials from other clients that you had. And there was one particular lady who had a similar anxiety, but not completely similar, but not dissimilar. And I felt as she was explaining her situation that I could relate to those feelings that she had. Hers was with driving, but all those same feelings, I said, oh, that sounds like something I have. And she kind of said it only took her a couple of sessions to see a difference. And I thought, well, this is worth a try because taking a medication is going to affect my life in so many other ways. And I'd rather try to do something natural, something that I'm not relying on medication to handle. So that's kind of what pushed me to make an appointment to talk about it.
I got you. Do you ever thank your mom? I don't think I asked that question in the in the interview that you did for me. Did you ever thank your mom?
Yes, I did. And now she can stop buying me, weird lights and weird little crystals and things. So we can both be on the same page that it's doing really good. So I'm really excited about that she forwarded that to me because it has made such a big difference in just so short amount of time, considering that I've worried about this my whole life and had to deal with this my whole life.
Yeah, no, and I understand that. What was your big why? What was your big why for working with me and getting a handle on this? I mean, you had mentioned that you had been dealing with this your whole life. I guess it sounds like you came to a fork in the road and you're like, look, I can continue on this road. Maybe I need medication. Maybe I need to do the traditional way. I'm not knocking that. Sometimes people need that, right? But I can tell you that in my practice, there's a lot of people just like you that say the same thing. They want the natural, holistic way so they can rely on themselves moving forward. So what was your big why?
I, normally for a lot of my life, it would be maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes of anxiety, and then I would be able to move on with my day. And just in the last couple years, it's been getting worse and worse and worse, where it gets to a point where it's hours at a time, or I need to stop doing whatever it is I'm doing to, for an extended period. I had a couple weeks where it was days at a time. So I just thought, I need to do something. What I'm doing isn't working. None of these things that I'm doing are working. So I need to try something different.
Yeah, perfect.
Mm.
So the big question that I get a lot, and I'm sure Lauren gets this too. What was your experience working with me? What was your experience, interacting with hypnosis? Because there's plenty of people out there who are just simply curious about the experience of hypnosis, what it's like, what it feels like, and they wonder how it can help them. So what was going on with you, when we were working together and you were doing hypnosis?
I was very skeptical at first, going into it. I'm kind of a worrywart and I'm scatterbrained. And I thought, I could never get to a point where I'm relaxed enough for hypnosis to work on me. I just went into it thinking that maybe it wouldn't work on me as just who I am. But I tried really hard. We had that really long first session, and I tried to be really open-minded and, let you guide me through that relaxation. And after the end of the first session, I could tell that I guess the word hypnosis meant something different than what I had associated with before. And when I'm explaining it to my friends or my, loved ones now, when I'm trying to say how it worked, I said, it's like conditioning, like working out your brain and teaching your brain something different and really, the repetitiveness of it too. I think it just training your brain, not being tricked. Like I always thought of hypnosis as, being tricked or
Right. Well,
something like that.
that's the Hollywood story. All right. That's the Hollywood story. Yeah. So you were going through this and you were feeling, and it's, I'm so happy that you mentioned that you were skeptical, because there are so many people that I work with, on a monthly basis that will come in and they will say exactly what you just said. I'm skeptical because I've tried this, that, and the other, and I've been burned and nothing's worked for me. And I've been having this for 5, 10, 15 years, or for you, you say, I've been dealing with this all my life, as long as I can remember. And then it's like, well, how is this going to be any different? How is this going to teach my brain something new? How am I going to be feeling after all of this? Right. So when you say it was that difference, right? What was that difference for you? Like you came in with an open mind. So can you kind of put your finger on it and explain to us what that difference was for you? Like, where was that turning point for you that you were like, you know what? I see something here. I feel some difference.
Yeah, I would say after the second session, even, I really started to feel a difference because I was just feeling more confident in the process. And I felt confident that I had some tools in my tool belt so that if there was a situation, I knew how to handle it and I knew what I needed to do. I feel like before I was kind of always flailing and it just made it worse and made it longer. And now I feel like when I run into a situation where I would have felt a lot of anxiety, I can go into it more confidently, knowing I have the tools to make it a good situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kasey, I really loved what you said too about how you were open-minded. You really wanted this to work because you tried so many things before. But even when hypnosis had come across your radar, maybe even before your mom brought it up, you just sort of felt like, I don't know, I wish it could work, but I doubt that could work for me because my mind's just too busy. But I loved the way that you redefined hypnosis like that. That's something I think we should put in our like branding, Troy. I mean, that was great, like reconditioning, better train your brain. Because if you can think and if you will follow instructions, we can do hypnosis with you. And I think understanding we're doing it with you and not to you is, a real big point. I mean, it's a subtle difference, but it really speaks to you're already hypnotizing yourself. So it's not a new thing. It's just now with a person who's been studying the finesse of language and suggestibility, you can get more of what you want, right? Which is away from those triggers that over your life just kind of built up over time. Now, when you've talked to your friends and things about it, I mean, because I find this from a lot of people I work with, like family and friends just want to know. They're like, what's it like? And it's kind of hard to explain, don't you think?
Yeah, it's interesting to explain it to, it's different talking to different people. I have some friends who they're like, oh yeah, athletes do that, right? They picture what they want the game to be, and then that, they would work on that and they would be better players or something. So some of them kind of get that idea of conditioning your brain or positive thinking or things like that. But other people, it's hard to really explain how you're just teaching yourself something and you're not, pretending It's not like you're making a different reality. You're just teaching yourself something new and teaching your brain how you want it to act.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I must say at the start of this, how I've worked with Troy now as a client of his, and how um, just how I really appreciate the flow of his sessions. So I'm sure you, in your sessions with him, Kasey, felt just really supported the whole time. And he makes it so fun, and he's got so much variety. Um, so it definitely wasn't what you expected hypnosis was going to be like, right? With you just like asleep off on a beach somewhere.
Yeah, no, it was definitely, I think it was really good too because, we went over so many different types of tools or ways to do the self hypnosis and do roadblocks. So I was able to practice them all and then pick the ones that really worked well for me specifically. So I felt like I had a lot of options and there wasn't just do it this one way and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There was lots of different avenues to take.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think most people think that hypnosis is going to be one of these experiences where they come in and they just close their eyes and they fall asleep. And then they wake up in an hour or 90 minutes and then everything's supposed to be all fixed. But my thing with that is, well, if you fall asleep or if you zone out or if you're not paying attention, I mean, what are you really learning? What are you really teaching your brain? How are you creating a new habit in your brain? How are you teaching your brain to move forward? How are you creating more neural flexibility, into all these channels? How are you activating the neural network and lighting up that neural framework in order to create this change as to how you would like to be and how you would like to feel moving forward? So I think this is a perfect question to ask you, Kasey, because you've been dealing with this for a long time. You've seen this success. You have the results, right? You have these solutions. I mean, just before we hopped on here with you, you were saying that you were, at a place this past weekend and you had to put a roadblock in, and in a couple of minutes you're back to, enjoying your evening, right? So what made me different from all the other things that you had tried to do in the past to overcome this?
Um, I think that it was a really good experience because you were teaching me how to be self-reliant with
Mhm.
this situation as opposed to relying on a medication or relying on someone else, not even really relying on you after you've taught me what I, needed to know. It's something that I can do for myself every day, which is really, really nice. And it gives me a lot of confidence and I am a lot nicer to myself in my own head, because before I think whenever I'd get anxiety, I'd get upset with myself or, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Why can't you stop this? And now I feel like I understand how anxiety works a lot better and that I know how to fix the problem, which is really rewarding and it makes me feel more positive just generally too.
Fix the problem, and you also know how to change the program
Hmm.
and change your positive, change the emotional state moving forward, which is a big deal. I think Kasey and I, Lauren, just so you know, I think Kasey and I had this conversation, and I know, Lauren, you have the same motivation. I mean, what keeps me going every day and working 14, 15, 16-hour days is that, there are going to be tonight, as we all go to bed tonight, there are going to be tonight millions of people going to sleep in tears because they do not know what Kasey now knows. They don't know how to change their emotional state. They're feeling anxious, they're feeling stressed, they're feeling worried, they're feeling concerned, they're feeling panic, they're feeling fear, and they don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So what you're saying, Kasey, is exactly right on, in my opinion, right? It's now you're relying on yourself. Now you have this freedom. Now you have this latitude. Now you have this liberation, right? That you can go about your day and understand that if there's something that you don't want to feel, or if you manage to feel a certain way that you don't like that you're feeling, you know exactly how to change it. And that is a big deal. It's a big deal for you. And it's a big deal for many people who don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And they come in like you and they have, they're skeptical, but they have this open mind because they're like, well, at this point, what do I have to lose? Right. And I'm assuming that's kind of where you were. That's why you took your mom's advice. Again, thanks, Mom. And coming in and doing this thing and teaching your brain this new way. And you said that you started seeing results as early as the second session. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And remind everybody how long you've been dealing with this.
Probably 26 years.
Right.
Mm.
So if I had told you on the first consultation call that Kasey, you're going to be seeing some sort of success and some sort of result in 2 sessions, 90-minute sessions, and you've had this thing for, 25, 26 years, what would you have said?
I wouldn't have really believed it.
Right. Right. Because it's something that you have to experience. It's something that you have to show your brain. It's something that you have to create. It's a habit that you have to install, right? A pattern that you have to kind of incorporate and create this transition and this transformation moving forward. So what benefits have you received, now that we've worked together and you've had, was it 3 sessions? I think it was. Was it 3 sessions?
Yeah,
think-
3
think it's right.
sessions.
Right. So what benefits have you seen now that we've worked together that you can directly apply in your life? Like how is your life different now, knowing what you know now?
So I can get through my day and just, feel normal, feel comfortable. From the little things to the big things, I was getting very anxious about having people over to my home, and I would try to avoid it sometimes just because I was so nervous about having those loud noises. And now I'm looking forward to having people come over and cooking dinner. That was always something that was a very stressful thing for me because of the noises. And now I can go days and days without even thinking about it. And whenever I do get a little anxious, I can make it go away in a couple of minutes at the most. So it's really changed my just day to day living.
And this was something that you were dealing with for hours, right? I mean, I think you said it took hours sometimes to calm yourself down and kind of get back to some sort of normalcy, correct?
Yeah, sometimes it would take hours. I'd have people over and I would either just be incredibly anxious the whole time, which made me not very approachable or fun to be around, or I would go upstairs and be in my room and excuse myself for a long time, which was also really embarrassing and not productive.
I can't, knowing you, Kasey, I don't see you not being fun. I think you're a very fun, outgoing person. I just can't see you not being fun.
Hopefully now I'll be a lot more fun.
Fun with anxiety for sure. Because you were trying. It's not like you weren't putting effort in. You probably had tried a ton of things. And it's not just, it's not positive thinking. I mean, positive thinking is great, but that can feel frustrating for somebody to think, okay, I'm just supposed to force myself to think positive thoughts, and that's how I can fix my brain. It's more outside the box than that. But it's very approachable techniques. I mean, you're using these techniques every day, and I'll bet, as your confidence continues to build and your brain starts to relearn new conditions, that those interferences become less and less.
Yeah, and I do think that you're it's not like magical sounding to me anymore. It's not like some mystical thing. And it makes sense to me. Once it's explained and you try it and you do it a few times, it makes perfect sense that it's not just something that you make happen out of nowhere. Like it does take practice and working at it. And I don't know, it makes perfect sense to me now. Would have never thought that a month ago, but
Yeah.
Well, you've come a long way in just a few short sessions.
Well, thank goodness you even came. I mean, yeah, mom, recommended it, but it was you seeing the testimonial to think, wow, if this person who had their anxiety for a really long time, who never thought they could get beyond it, saw some results, it's worth a shot. I'll stay open-minded to it. And I'm so glad that
definitely.
And I normally don't ask this question, but Kasey, I'm going to break my rule for you, right? Because it's really, I don't think it's anyone else's business as to how they see your change, but I'm going to break this rule. Because your mom was the one that suggested this to you, I'm assuming she's seen this change, right? And she's seen your results. So what has she told you? I mean, has she said anything that's like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that you're seeing? I mean, what is that conversation with her?
She's just really happy to see that I'm happy and just more comfortable in my own skin and just, able to get excited about family gatherings, about her coming over. And just,
Right.
I know that it makes a big difference to her too, because she's always had to be around it. So she's really excited for me.
And now when she comes over or when you go on your vacation here in a couple of months or whenever you hang out, now you have the opportunity to create another awesome memory with your mom and your family. And you don't have to worry about any of this other BS because now you can focus on being present in the moment. And that's a big deal. It's a big deal for a lot of people. So where do
Mhm.
you see your life going now? I mean, I know you have a lot of awesome, cool, exciting things to look forward to in the next, what, year, maybe 6 months to a year. Where do you see your life going? Like what goals do you have for yourself moving forward in all this? Like, what do you hope to accomplish?
Yeah, I really hope to just keep doing exactly what I'm doing. I feel like I'm in a really good place now, and I want to keep it going. I want to make sure that I'm able to just be the best version of myself. I have a new fiance, so I definitely want to be the best version of myself for him as well. And just make more memories um, that aren't interfered with by anxiety for sure.
And who did this?
I did this.
You did. Exactly right. So last question for you, because I know we're keeping you over time, and I apologize about that, but I think your story is so special to me, and I know our audience, and I know to Lauren as well. I know there's going to be a lot of people listening to this specific podcast. There are going to be a lot of people listening to this specific story, right? What words of advice would you have for those people that are maybe, kind of on the fence? Maybe they're just as skeptical as you were. Maybe they're not sure this is going to work for them. Maybe they're not sure that they can overcome their own anxiety. Maybe they're not sure they can change a habit, right? But knowing what you know now, what would you say to someone like this if they're on the fence, being that you're successful now, seeing these results, and you've experienced this change firsthand?
I would say that I was skeptical as well. And going into it, I thought it was, going to be something that was really difficult. But in the end, spending time doing these sessions and doing the self hypnosis every day is really so much less time consuming and so much easier than any of the alternatives. And I think that it was something that you could see a change really quickly if you put your energy into it. And I would recommend it for anyone who has any kind of similar situation to myself.
Mhm.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm so glad that you're sharing your story, Kasey, because I know there's so many people out there and they are probably feeling discouraged because of all the things that they've tried. And hypnotism is, as many times as we say it, but we're not going to stop saying, how credible it really is. But up until we have the same budget that Hollywood has, people are just going to expect that it's something that's not. But it's really a true power that we can have in our mind. And I love what you just said about the daily self hypnosis exercise, which I love that you follow through with that, because it's an easy thing to do, and you're already using hypnosis all day, whether or not you knew that you were. So might as well step in and do it consciously. But now you could use self hypnosis for so many additional things. Not only anxiety, I use it regularly for sleep. Every hour of sleep is as restful as two. I mean, it's not all day, every day like that, but sometimes me and Troy, we stay late in the studio and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
always,
you're already doing it every day, like you said. They're not hypnotizing yourself, I guess, but creating habits. We all
Mhm.
create habits mentally, so it makes perfect sense that anxiety is a habit that you create. Can get rid of it the
Mhm.
opposite way.
yeah, and I
Mhm.
told Casey this, and I always joke around about this too. But it's like, you can take these same tools and you can take these same techniques and you can use the same self hypnosis to knock down any unwanted negative emotional state. So I always jokingly say that I guess in a way, I guess I'm kind of putting myself out of business, because it's not like you got to come back and you use you learn something different. I mean, there are, don't get me wrong, there are different nuances and subtleties, but for any unwanted negative emotional state, you can take these same techniques and you can apply them and they will work just as well.
Mhm.
So I wanted to congratulate you, Casey, for all of your awesome success. I know from day one when we got on the phone, I was like, if she goes through with this, I mean, I could hear your passion in your voice. I could hear your dedication. You wanted this behind you, and you wanted your life back. I could hear it in your voice. And you told me you had all these cool things that you were looking forward to in the next, 6 months, 9 months, a year from now, and things like that. So I'm so happy for you. I'm so overjoyed by your success. And thank you again for coming on here and telling your story, because like I said, I know I sound like a broken record, but it is very relatable. There's a lot of people in our world, in our country right now, that are dealing with something very similar. And the fact that you have, a solution and you have the success, and the fact that you're putting this into practice and still seeing results says a lot about you as a person. So congratulations. And I'm so over the moon, thrilled and proud of all of your success.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And thank you for all your help. That I so glad that my mom forwarded me your website link.
Yeah, give 2 thumbs up to your mom for me next time you say your mom. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad I got to be here present for your story, Kasey. It is exciting to hear about hypnosis and how it affects everybody's life, and for you particularly. Now you can enjoy hosting, enjoy friends, enjoy your beautiful home and your life in control of your mind.
And her fiance, she's
you.
getting married soon. She's
Yeah,
got a big, all these awesome events to look forward to coming up.
it's so
So
exciting.
it is
Troy.
exciting. It is
Yeah,
exciting. And now she's in a position.
Absolutely.
Now she's in a position to enjoy all of these awesome things coming up.
hmm yeah. Well, we will bring other stories back, all different types of goals that people are achieving with hypnosis until, I mean, I can't see anybody ever being tired of hearing somebody's life being changed by them taking control of their own, suggestibility.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
So there's 2 places that people can find us. You can find us on
mhm,
Facebook over at Co-Creation Nation, or
mhm.
you can hop online. Well, I guess Facebook is also online, but you can also go to our website, hypnosisinaction.com, and
Yeah.
you can sign up and get free hypnosis audios. Lauren has one over there. I have one of my own. So you can connect with us in 2 places and just let us know what you would like to just, if we can bring on somebody, or, if there's a topic that we can discuss, please let us know, because this podcast is as much yours as it is ours. So thank you,
Yes.
Lauren. Thanks for always being my co-host and my side seat driver. Thank you, Kasey. You're completely awesome, but you already know that. And thank you to our audience for always being true to us. Episode 21. I don't know where the first 20 went, Lauren. It's been so fast. This journey so far has been so fast, but I certainly appreciate this journey with you.
Same with you, Troy. All my best to you guys all out there listening. Thanks so much. We'll be back soon. Bye.